The Ritz Carlton Credit Card is one of the more mysterious credit cards out there, and I find that a lot of people who haven't actually dove into this card categorize it amongst the likes of the Centurion Card and the JP Morgan Reserve Card just for the image of prestige and the fact that you cannot publicly apply for them and get the card yourself. However, unlike the Centurion Card or the JP Morgan Reserve Card, the Ritz Carlton Credit Card is not that hard to get your hands on, and it just so happens to be one of the most powerful travel credit cards, even for someone who's very value-oriented like myself. I'm going to peel back the mystery behind this card today, cut to the chase and show you the best strategies on how to get it, and answer the question if it should potentially be on your list of travel cards to target. Everything I try to do on this channel is to take big, complicated, sometimes intentionally confusing concepts about credit cards and banks and simplify it down to exactly what you need to know. I hope this is going to be really valuable for you today because the Ritz Carlton Credit Card is a little bit off of most people's radar. However, it is still accessible and when used right can pack a ton of value in, which a lot of people are very surprised to hear when they realize it's associated with a brand of such prestige and luxury status. I'm going to look at this in 3 parts: exactly how to get the card, the earnings and benefits it holds and how to use those, and also the strategy to get the card in the simplest and quickest way if you feel like it's something that could be a good fit in your wallet. So when I teased the other prestigious credit cards in the opening and put the Ritz Carlton up right alongside those, the message behind that was no one can actually just go and apply for this card. There's a few qualifications you must meet to be able to get and product change into the Ritz Carlton card yourself. You have to hold any of the following Marriott Bonvoy Chase credit cards: the Bonvoy Bold, which is a $0 annual fee card, the Bonvoy Boundless, which is a $95 annual fee card, or the Bonvoy Bountiful, which has a $250 annual fee. In addition to having one of those cards, you must currently have had the card for at least 1 year. You also have to have a credit line on that account of at least $10,000. This can be achieved if you don't have that and are ready to product change to the Ritz by calling Chase and requesting a credit increase, or if you have other Chase cards, shifting some of the credit line from those cards onto your Bonvoy card to prepare for the switch. Now, important to know, there are a lineup of American Express Marriott credit cards. These are almost identical in look and feel. However, because the Ritz Carlton credit card is a Chase issued card, there is no pathway to product change from an American Express Bonvoy card over to the Ritz Carlton card itself. I'll talk a little bit more at the end of this video about the best and most efficient ways to actually get your first Marriott card and then work towards that product change. Also, I want to plug a helpful resource for anyone who wants to learn more about the Marriott credit card lineup. I'll put a video card up in the corner so you can save and watch that later. Now let's talk about what this card actually gets you. And I want to focus on some of the highlighted value aspects because, like I said before, I think that this card is sneaky powerful, not just a fun brand image to hold that you can actually deploy in your wallet for some real impact in your travel. The Ritz Carlton card carries a $450 annual fee. I want you to be really focused on this price point. It's an awkward middle ground, but I think it actually works in the card's favor. See, it's in between those upper echelon cards like the Platinum card, but at the same time, it's also significantly above your $99 to $250 annual fee travel credit card type tier range. It's really in a category of its own. Let's start with what the card earns you on spend. It'll bring you between 18.5 and 23.5 points back for every dollar you spend at Marriott Bonvoy properties. It earns a base level 6x points back on the card. You get an additional 10x points for being a Marriott Bonvoy member, and then depending on your status with Marriott, you'll earn an additional 2.5 points for gold status, which the card automatically puts you at just by holding it, 5 points back for platinum status, or 7.5 points back for titanium and ambassador elite status. The card also gets you 3x points back on dining, car rentals, and airline purchases, as well as a flat 2x back on all other purchases. Now I have to note these earnings may seem impressive right off the top. However, most credit card reviewers value Marriott Bonvoy points somewhere between 0.7 and 0.9 cents per point, so not as much as a typical credit card point. If you split the difference and apply a 0.8 cents per point value, it effectively means you're earning 2.4x back on dining, car rentals, and airline purchases, and about a flat 1.6x back if you just spent on any non-category purchase with this card. That's not terrible, and I certainly wouldn't look down on somebody who wanted to concentrate all of their spend into Marriott Bonvoy points. However, a lot of the things we talk about on this channel are how to maximize your spend and get more value by assembling the right card mix. So subscribe and watch some of the other videos if you want to hear more on those strategies. This card is really a benefits credit card, however, and I wanted to break down the benefits into what I thought was very useful and very valuable, and the ones that, you can really take or leave, that are just nice to have for some people, but not critically important in affecting your decision about whether this card is worth shooting for. Let's start with the benefits that are worth it. You cannot look at this card without considering the 85,000 point value free night award you get every single year. Just to put this into perspective, let's look at how other free night awards compare on similar Bonvoy cards. On the Chase Bonvoy Boundless, which is a $95 card, your free night certificate is worth only 35,000 points. On the Bonvoy Bountiful, a $250 card, you get a 50K free night award, but you have to spend $15,000 on the card before getting that certificate. On the Amex side, on the Bonvoy Bevy, it's the same thing. And the only card that touches the Ritz Carlton is Amex's Bonvoy Brilliant. You also get an 85,000 point free night award. However, that card comes in at a price tag of $650 on the annual fee. What can 85,000 points on a free night award actually get you? Well, two examples just for fun. One is going to be at the J Marriott Tucson Star Pass Resort and Spa out in Tucson, Arizona, where you can see a king room goes for about $650 a night in cash or 65,000 Marriott Bonvoy points. Or you could head out to Hawaii and look at the Sheraton Kauai Coconut Beach Resort, where king room goes for a more reasonable $383 a night or 68,000 points. Now, it's always tempting to get free night certificates and really just focus your redemption strategy on getting the absolute most room you possibly can without crossing that threshold. However, I encourage you, when you value this card, to just think about the value of a common free night award in your life. Maybe it is going to be almost an $800 cash price room at a 5-star resort, but it also might just be a regular $200 room that takes away one more expense you would have had to pay throughout the year. I think both are equally valid uses of this card, and it just has to fit into your lifestyle. Up next is a $300 airline travel credit. Listen very closely, because this credit is a little bit more restrictive than some of the credit card credits out there. You can use this on airline incidentals. That includes airline lounge day passes, seat upgrades, baggage fees, which I think could be very valuable, in-flight entertainment, and in-flight meals. To actually have this credit applied to your statement, you have to call in and ask for it, speaking with a representative on the phone after the charges have been posted. Now, this is a negative that you have to call in and speak with someone to get these credits applied. However, on the flip side of that, real data points have indicated that some people have been able to talk their way into getting a little bit more generous in what's actually counted as a travel credit that works against this $300. So there could be some benefit in there too. Lounge access is my third favorite benefit that really makes a difference up next. You get Priority Pass Select membership, which includes up to 1,300 lounges, which is entry for you and 2 guests. Additional guests above and beyond that only cost $27. This also includes unlimited access to Chase Sapphire lounges for you and 2 guests as well. This is the exact same lounge access offered to users who have the Chase Sapphire Reserve. However, remember, that card costs $100 more than the Ritz card to hold. Also, in a day and age of lounge access being cut and restricted, getting you plus 2 guests in on that price is a little bit more rare these days. Rounding out the solid benefits that I think are worth it are TSA PreCheck and Global Entry Credit, and free authorized users, which also actually get their own TSA PreCheck credit and their own lounge access as well. Now, the card has some other benefits that I feel just don't really move the needle. You may feel differently, so let me break them down. It includes automatic Marriott Bonvoy Gold status. This is the second lowest elite status from Marriott. It includes 25% more points for each purchase, which is baked into that earning multiplier I told you about In the beginning, you get an enhanced room upgrade, which is usually going to be a better view or a higher floor, not necessarily a different type of room, and you also get late checkout on your reservations. You'll also start with 15 Elite Night credits per year. That's a nice head start. However, that next tier level is Platinum Elite, and that's going to be 50 Elite Night credits. So you may not be really moving the needle enough if you're not a frequent Marriott stayer to actually help yourself achieve that Platinum Elite status. You also get 3 upgrades to the Ritz Carlton Club annually. Think of the Ritz Carlton Club like a very nice airport lounge, however, at an actual property. Unfortunately, these lounges are really limited to Ritz's nicest resorts. So depending on your travel habits, you may or may not even experience a property with one of those inside a typical year. Finally, you get mid-tier car rental status through Avis and National, which is pretty much a free one-class car upgrade. Nice, but probably not essential for most people out there. Only you can decide on this card's overall valuation. How I would do this is to think of $450 that the annual fee is going to be, pause the video and start back at the benefits section and mentally check off as I go through these benefits what that's worth to you, and if you can get this card to work for you and become a positive card in surplus value that outweighs that yearly annual fee. If you go through and you're seeing premium benefits at a non-premium annual fee cost, I'll encourage you to continue to watch this last section of the video, which is showing you exactly the best strategies to go about and acquire this card in the most efficient way. Now, getting the Ritz Carlton card can honestly feel very confusing. It's easy enough to understand the 1-year product change upgrade. However, when you throw Amex issuing Marriott Bonvoy cards along with Chase and potentially wanting to get multiple cards on your way to accumulate as many sign-up bonuses as possible, things get crazy really quickly. The first general rule you have to understand is in order to get started on the pathway to getting the Ritz Carlton, you need to be under Chase 524. This means you cannot apply for a Chase card and have already opened 5 cards from any issuer on the personal side in the last 2 years. Otherwise, you'll be automatically rejected. Strategy option number 1 is the simplest strategy possible. This is to apply immediately and get that clock started for any one of the 3 Chase card options, wait a year, and then product change into the Ritz by calling into Chase customer service. However, a lot of people will want to try to double dip and get multiple sign-up bonus offers, sometimes across the Chase and Amex lineup, and also get the Ritz card. If you want to achieve that, here's the order that I suggest. Step 1 is to get any of the 3 Chase Marriott cards and get that clock started. Step 2 is to wait 24 months since you got that Chase sign-up bonus from one of their Marriott cards in step 1. After you've waited 24 months, go and apply for any one of the Amex Marriott Bonvoy cards. Once you've gotten accepted there, you can go back to your Chase card and call in to product change that into a Ritz Carlton card. Now, that specific timeline and order is by design. The rules state that you cannot receive a welcome offer from the opposite issuer within 2 years of getting a sign-up bonus. Hence the reason for waiting 2 years for an Amex card after getting that Chase card first. You also want to get your Amex card before you product change to a Ritz, because if you currently have the Ritz Carlton card or have had it within the past 30 days, you cannot receive an Amex Marriott card welcome offer. Now, going Chase, Amex, then product changing to Ritz allows you to do all of that. However, if you go in the opposite order and get the Amex card, then you get the Chase card, then you get the Ritz, there's going to be a longer delay in your timeline because you'll have had to wait 2 years after your Amex card, then you get your Chase card, and then you have to wait still that 1 year to hold the Chase card before product changing into the Ritz. Because there are hundreds of ways that you can approach this strategy, I will include the most helpful resource I found that break down pretty much all of the possibilities and combinations and the rules associated with them in working towards your Ritz card. I'll put that down in the description below. Now, I hope you know top to bottom today whether this card could be a goal card for you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, but otherwise, thank you so much for watching.